everyone. My name is Risto Vahenurm, and I'm the Managing Director of Estonian Digital Construction cluster. So the first thing what I have to mention is the cluster is the right name for this organization. I'm really glad to be here. I'm honored to be here, and I was asked here to share a story this time. So Raitis got the hard part. Raitis talked about BIM, some of the really essential parts of BIM, for example, common data environment, what BIM means. So perhaps for infrastructure, we should have IIM, Infrastructure Information Management. So the B is not really relevant, perhaps. This time I'm sharing a story. And the story is about how we have moved with digital construction for a couple of years now, and actually what's the historical point where I understand also Rail Baltica started its BIM journey, and Raitis joined the team as well. Before I joined the cluster, I was Estonian head of digital construction. So I worked at the ministry, and one of the programs that I'm going to speak about is one of the programs that I was starting to work with at the ministry. So let's start. We were talking about BIM before, and what is it about? It's information management. But if we go a little bit further or take the helicopter view, then I would say that success of BIM relates hardly and also actually directly on collaboration. So we will have collaboration part. We will also need to have technology in order to achieve our goals. And we probably need to set up some kind of rules. So we need some rules set. So technology we have all around us. Technology is already here. We need some rules as well. So rules, we have different kind of organizations. For example, Building Smart. I should suggest to look into IFC infra topics, where you can find these kind of frameworks and rules, how to exchange information in the infrastructure. But still, in order to make all of the magic happen, so to speak, we need collaboration between the industry members. And this is what we have focused in Estonia. So already, I would say 4 years, there was initiated public clients groups by Minister of Economic Affairs and Communications. And when I joined the team, we had 2 public clients groups. So there is one on the building side and also in the infrastructure side. So this is where it all began, and I will tell this about shortly. But we also have from another initiative that takes together the private sector and also universities, and this is called Digital Construction Cluster, EDFICE. So currently there is 29 members, and as already said, there are some larger private contractors recently joined, Merco and Nordecon. So there is also companies all over the life cycle. So we have designers, architects, already mentioned universities, and contractors, and also facility management side. So, and the main idea is to share information, look at those problems, what we can highlight in order to implement BIM, look at those problems together and try to find solutions, and then setting up what kind of technology we use and what kind of rule set we're going to use to achieve those goals. And Estonia also, we want to take a neutral and open way. So we are in tight collaboration with Building Smart Nordic. As already mentioned, Building Smart Nordic stands for Open BIM and its standards. So we want to be neutral and open in order that whenever software you will work, you will be able to exchange information. Estonia has somehow historical connection with Finland. So, we have in construction industry, we have taken a lot of knowledge and know-how from Finland. So, and it's not the exception this time when it comes to infra BIM. So currently we are translating Finnish infra BIM UIV 2015. So we believe that will be also become a practical documentation that we have already experienced from the building side, from housing and building side, when we translated CoBIM in 2012. And it actually today has been a basis of procuring different kind of buildings and housing. And I believe that this document will start to live as well, this own life. So about history. With the public clients group, the main goal in order to start with BIM, in order to initiate BIM, is first question is, of course, where to start. Where do I get the information? How could I procure? How do I move on? What's my plan? What's my strategy? But you have to have a will. So, and we decided we want to go for BIM, and we want to go for open BIM. So on 5th of July 2017, the declaration of intent by biggest public clients in Estonia was signed. And also with the Ministry of Economic Affairs and Communications. And here on the picture you see State Real Estate, Tallinn Harbour, Estonian Road Administration, and City of Tallinn were the four first who signed this document. But also Rail Baltica teams joined. So in August, we signed a document as well by RB Rail and Rail Baltica Estonia. And it's actually a funny story with that we were able to sign the document with a Latvian ID card. So that's why the funny face is, it was a little bit struggle, but at the end when we finished it, we understood it's not so hard at all. So this is where it all started, and you saw from the slides what happened next. So it's really, really glad to see that it has moved on, that Raitis is working hard on this, Rail Baltica team is working hard on this, and it's really, really important to have this strategy in place in order to be successful. But BIM is not always, I would say, it cannot be the dream. You have to work for this, and you have to work for success. It doesn't solve your problems like this. So, a couple of views. Just a quote from Mr. Andres Lindemann, who was, still is, the Rail Baltica team from the ministry side. And there are some realistic viewpoints that perhaps we have to work a little bit harder on that in order to implement BIM. So, just a quote for a few statements that perhaps we are not ready with the BIM yet from the infrastructure side, and this, in some sense, might be true. That we need to work harder because the housing and the building side is perhaps a little bit more advanced. And as we signed the intention, one of the goals of the public clients was that they will have the common, they share experience when procuring the BIM. They will put the work on of getting the guidelines out, and they also start implementing in reality, so they create pilot projects. In Rail Baltica case, you don't have pilot projects. You have the real projects, and you have to be in set. So probably that's also one of the things what we can discuss, that RB cannot wait after BIM that we have to go hand by hand and test it out in reality. And of course, you can always say and argue that there is a lot of BIM enthusiasts and there are always BIM critics around. So currently in this region, in order to be successful, one of the statements by Andres is perhaps we have a little bit too much BIM enthusiasm and we should deal with more real use cases and use BIM in an effective way. So I thank you for this listening, and please feel free to contact if you have any questions about Estonian progress. So yes, thank you from my side.